Alright, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here, and today I'm going to tell you guys a story that I've been extremely reluctant to put on any social media, and actually when it happened, I even deleted the tweets just because the individual or group of individuals I'm going to tell you guys about today are on a level of crazy, stalker, threatening fucking madness that you just don't mess with them. They're like the sleeping lion, you just don't poke them, except for they haven't been sleeping, they've been apparently going around YouTube and ripping off every single large YouTuber you've ever freaking heard of. Now I was aware that they had a lot of misfortunes with a lot of YouTubers, but I had no idea just how many. The sheer breadth of people that are tweeting out right now that these dudes owe them money is just ridiculous. And this is all happening on the tide of a lawsuit result. Apparently, they just lost a $20 million lawsuit. And by they, I'm only talking about one person, apparently. He's got this made-up twin that we don't actually think exists. But yes, he just lost a $20 million lawsuit over a contract involving the video games community channel. Now, if you guys are unaware of this concept of community channels, basically there's a few large channels out there that will upload the best content from a lot of YouTube creators, and the YouTube creators love this because they're large channels and we get all the subs, they get the ad revenue. Historically, it's been a huge mutually beneficial arrangement between YouTubers and channels. I'm willing to bet half of the gaming YouTubers you watch now rose up and came up through the help of a community channel. I'm one of them. I'm willing to bet almost all of you guys saw my content on Trollarch Office or Best COD Comedy or video games and then came over and subbed to my channel. So these arrangements aren't so bad. Now, of course, I was a small YouTuber, so I wasn't getting paid. So just a clarification on that, I am not owed a cent from these guys. We never had any business with any kind of monetary value. It's just me giving them videos, they upload them, and then I got the subs from their channel. But that didn't stop him from going absolutely fucking crazy on me and every single person I know. Now, the story doesn't even start with Futuristic Hub. At first, I met this guy named Marco. On the 0 to Futuristic Hub crazy scale, he's like a 3 or 4. He wasn't actually crazy. My dealings with him were actually pretty brief. He too did not have the best reputation in this community, but as a small YouTuber, I liked working with him because they uploaded my videos and I got a shit ton of subs out of it. But nonetheless, he was a pretty aggressive character, but not anywhere near as aggressive as the latter part of this video. But somewhere in our talkings, we kind of fell apart in what we were doing, so I was no longer uploading videos to him, and we just weren't on a talking level. And all of a sudden, there was a change in, I guess, management of this channel because he disappeared. I haven't heard from him since, and this guy named Futuristic Hub, aka Brian Martin, took over the channel, and we were all really excited because this is one of the largest community channels, one of the fastest growing community channels, and as members of the community, we were excited, to be able to work together with this guy on this project. And almost every single Call of Duty gaming YouTuber or just YouTuber in general has had dealings with this channel because like I said, it's one of the largest ones. Right now, I think it is the largest one, like by far. But one by one, this Futuristic Hub guy has made enemies of absolutely everyone. Now, this Futuristic Hub guy, aka Brian Martin, used to be this other character on YouTube and has an extremely colorful history, which you guys can go look up by Googling Life in a Tent. There's actually a Wikipedia page on there that will literally tell you everything about this guy and all the crazy shit and all this weird stunts he's pulled. But we met Futuristic Hub online, and by we, I mean me and the Goon Squad and all the TK guys that were hoping to get our videos uploaded on his channel. And within a month of knowing this guy, you could already tell something was a little off the rocker because he'd have a lot of beef with like all these other YouTubers, and it'd all be very public on Twitter, and everybody would be talking about it because the YouTube gaming Call of Duty community, so to speak, is an extremely small community, especially nowadays. We all know each other, we all DM each other, we all talk about stuff. There's really only like 100 of us still doing it. And he kind of went around starting a whole lot of beef with a whole lot of people over, him helping them and them doing nothing back. It was just a lot of really murky situations, nothing too crazy. Now, I'd heard a lot of rumors about this guy, and not just YouTubers, industry people that remembered their group from like way back in the day. The 3 people or 4 people involved in this lawsuit all used to work together, obviously. And they had a not too sterling reputation back then, but they assumed new personalities in return. Brian Martin actually claims that he's not Life in a Tent, that Life in a Tent was his brother, twin brother, that was stealing his identity. I honestly don't know if that's true. Everything that I've mentioned so far in this video is only to build a background, and it's not actually going to be what this video is about. Everything was just to build the smallest background so I can tell you about my experience directly with Futuristic Hub, because obviously if someone who started as much shit as him, and I almost believe that all of it's true, I'm sure some of it's been exaggerated, I'm sure some of it's not exactly true. I just know it's like almost everybody and they all have the same story. But I'm not going to talk about all this stuff because I actually have no idea. I wasn't there, I didn't read the Skype conversations, I didn't read the contracts, whatever. Today I'm going to tell you about a very specific experience that I had with Futuristic Hub, and it happened at the UMG California event. You guys might have seen a couple of the tweets, but I deleted them pretty quickly. But at this event, I actually got to meet up with Ham for the second time, because I had met him at COD Champs like a few months before. But I also got to meet up with Lost and Aborted, so it was our whole little Goon Squad group was there, and of course the whole team was there. That was when Parasite and Nameless were on the squad. And it was no secret that we were all going there as a big group. And our relationship with Futuristic Hub at this point wasn't exactly not friendly. Now, I did have him blocked and I was no longer talking to him. The minute we disagreed on something, he threatened to take away my channel and destroy everyone I knew and said basically a bunch of really crazy shit. I decided I didn't want to have anything to do with this guy. I didn't want to be involved with him. I didn't want to answer any tweets or his DMs. And he was the type that would just spam your Skype or spam your DMs with all types of shit. But very early on, I realized he was one of those people that you just don't want to kind of mess with, because he was talking about taking people's channels away. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. As a YouTuber, I know we spend years building this stuff. Everything we do during that time is all towards YouTube, and this is everyone's babies, and there's just no way anyone deserves to get their channel taken away, especially by some asshole that just has like judge and jury powers apparently. And this is something that he's done before, so everyone believes him. So I decided it is kind of like non-communicado the guy. That didn't stop him from hitting up absolutely every single person I know or have ever been associated with to tell them the story about our relationship and why I was blocking him, so that everyone knew. Now, of course, everyone knows the guy's crazy and just kind of said, okay, because he's one of those characters that you just kind of listen to and then just don't really agree with, you don't really associate with, because he's that fucking nuts. But that had happened like 2 months ago, so we weren't exactly on an unfriendly position. I just wasn't talking to him. I really wasn't associated with him. All my friends were kind of treating him the same way. They didn't originally do it. They're like, you probably shouldn't block him because he's crazy. I mean, he might go flip out on you. And I was like, I'll take the brunt of his craziness now to just not be associated with him, because if I actually build a relationship with this guy, if he gets to know me, and then I decide this decision, the fucking reaction is going to be way worse, and he might actually try to come kill my fam or destroy my channels or dog my businesses. But of course I was right, and you're about to find out why. So we're there the first night of the event. We all just got there. We all checked into our hotels, and we decided as a team to all go out and have dinner. So of course we picked Dave and Buster's because we're all a bunch of children, and the idea of eating dinner and going to play a bunch of arcade games just is naturally appealing. So of course we go over there, and if you guys have never been to a COD event, usually one COD team decides to go somewhere first, and then everyone just kind of meets everyone there. So over the course of this evening, the whole Optic team showed up, all the guys from Rise showed up, all the COD pros eventually made their way to Dave and Buster. And Futuristic Hub, he was attending this event, so he obviously he was reaching out to people on Twitter saying, hey, when are you gonna be there? I'm gonna come join, I'll come say hi. And everyone's kind of cringing reading these tweets, who's like, how does he not know everyone fucking like really doesn't want anything to do with him, that he's crazy? And then we all kind of realized, well, it's because we're all so damn scared of his psycho ass that we haven't been telling him to fuck off. So basically we're all at Dave and Buster's, and he finally shows up. Now, my group being the friendly group that they are, and we're not exactly on bad terms, he shows up, we're all having drinks at the bar. We weren't total dicks to him. We weren't gonna sit there and just be assholes to him. So of course we're like, hey man, come on over, have a drink. Fuck, let's just let bygones be bygones. There's no real reason to absolutely hate someone at their core, unless they did something so unexcusable that you can't actually get over it. But most of the time, and I'm guessing most of you guys would agree, that most of the little petty fights that you get into, or even if they're important at the time, eventually they don't make any sense to continue, because it just becomes too much effort to hate someone. It takes a lot of effort to dislike someone, especially when they invited themselves to Dave and Buster's. So we're all being kind of friendly, but eventually we got our table, so we all ended up heading over to the table because we wanted food, and we were meeting up with Apathy and his girlfriend. Parasite's little brother showed up, and it was just, we were going to have a whole group, and we didn't all want to sit at the bar, so we went and got one of those massive tables in their eating area. But my boy Ham kind of hung behind. If you guys don't know Ham, he is easily the friendliest in our group. He's the type of guy that will love absolutely everybody, no matter, and especially if he's had a couple of drinks. He's just a really friendly guy, loves to talk one-on-one, to go really big into stories, really likes to, hold the floor, but he also likes to listen. So he's overall a really friendly, fun kind of guy to be drunk around. But overall, it didn't really seem like a big deal. He hung over at the bar, they had a few drinks, and all of a sudden this became kind of an argument. Now, as soon as it started to seem like it got a little loud over there, Lost actually went over to see what was going to happen, and then they calmed down and they proceeded to have a few more drinks. Now, of course, my food gets there, and I'm continuing to have dinner. I made a few vines, I took a few Instagram photos, but that's right when Lost comes over and tells me, hey, Ham's outside and like about to get into a fight. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Little Ham's gonna get in a fight? And I'm not saying he's like little can't handle himself, but he's not exactly a big burly guy that's just trying to start shit with everybody. So we go out there, and of course they haven't actually fought, but they're yelling and screaming, everyone's kind of holding Ham back, and Hub was just kind of just standing there behind this security guard type guy that had come out there to kind of see what the commotion was, smiling and grinning, just totally pleased with what he's done, because Ham's kind of like lost full at this point. A few minutes ago they were hugging and taking shots, and it was all good time, and bygones were bygones, and we were about to have a really positive evening, but nonetheless we decided it was just best to leave, so we called like 2 Ubers because we had that many people with us, and we just left. We didn't want to have anything to do with the situation. It just seemed awfully petty and awfully dumb. But of course on the Uber ride home I heard the story. Apparently Futuristic Hub started to talk shit about me. So as they were talking, this Brian guy was telling Ham and Lost that I was a scumbag, that he probably shouldn't hang out with me, just all this bad stuff, that basically I wasn't a good guy, and that since I blocked him, it just showed what a dickhead I was and how much I didn't care about people. Because apparently in his eyes we were really good friends, and me blocking him and cutting him off was like a huge deal to him. To me it was just some guy that was going to upload my videos. It was like a business scenario. We had never had a conversation about anything besides that, save the rant he went on about how powerful he was and he could take everyone's channels down, and that he would. And the person he was actually talking about at the time was Keemstar. Him and Keemstar were going at it back and forth on Twitter, and he kept on ranting and raving how he could take away his channel, he could sue him, take all his money, he could do all these crazy fucking things. I'm just like, whoa, you're fucking so serious. And even though me and Keem aren't on the best of terms or whatever, like fuck that, like I don't want to have anything to do with this. Like, so when this guy actually thought we were like really good friends and seemed to be emotionally hurt by the fact that I did this and was willing to go talk shit about me to literally my best friends, one, just shows how delusionally crazy he is, and two, just shows what an asshole he was. You know, we came in here, we accepted him back in, we were like kind of like chilling, having a good night, and he decided to use his one opportunity to finally talk to us like in real life to just talk shit. Now you guys know I got a dog's loyalty to my people. Like, you come after my guys, right or wrong, really has nothing to do with it. They're my friends, they're the people I surround myself with, they're the people I, you know, spend my life with. I'm gonna be extremely defensive of them. I'll decide whether other people can have beef with my people. That's just how it is. You know, we come together, we come as a group. You guys ever seen Mighty Ducks? This is my flock, motherfuckers. Don't come at us. We're good people, we're positive people. Don't bring negativity into our worlds. And well, Ham, he's the exact same way, so he didn't take this very well. But that was pretty much the end of the night. We went back to our hotels and went to sleep. We had to get up early for UMG California the next morning. And to be honest, I really didn't even think anything of the situation because we weren't talking to this guy anyway, so it's like, alright, you just fuck off again, bye. It's not like we're friends or even acquaintances anymore, it's over. But of course I wake up not only to tweets at my account, but tweets at my ex-girlfriend's account too. This guy was literally threatening my ex-girlfriend, saying that he was gonna come to the event and beat my ass with him and his 2 brothers. And then he proceeded to tweet a picture of these 2 like massively muscle, like competitive lifter type guys, which we're pretty sure he just got off Google Images. Yeah, he's that crazy. But he was saying he was going to come to the event and start all these fights and do all this stuff. Now obviously I'm there in a professional capacity. I'm not there as a YouTuber just fucking around. I'm not just some guy at an event. My team's playing, you know, I've got all my people around me. We're filming content, we're doing us. But not only that, these tweets have become so visible that they are visible by the UMG guys, and they actually came to talk to me about what this thing is, and like, hey, should we be worried? Is this guy really going to show up? And I was like, of course not. This guy's full of shit. He's a little bitch. He's not going to fucking do anything. This guy is a literal keyboard warrior, and we should just leave it at that. Everyone can be a keyboard warrior at one point. We've all done it. We've all gotten on and ranted. We all thought we were the hardest motherfuckers in the world on the internet, typing some shit out on Twitter. It happens. But this is a professional event with a whole bunch of spectators and all this stuff, so of course security came over to talk to me. And I explained to them the whole situation. I explained to them who this guy was. I showed them the Wikipedia page of his life intent history, and I showed them all his Twitters and all the stuff that he'd been tweeting at me. And at that point, they started to take it pretty serious. To these guys, someone tweeting on the internet that they're coming to beat you up and fuck everybody up and do all this crazy shit, it's a pretty serious situation. So I actually went with them to their like security central place in this convention center that we were in. It was a UMG issue, now it's a convention center issue. So I go tell everything that I just told this underling, I guess, to the main security boss, and he was like, oh my god, I already know about all this. And I looked at him like, how do you know all about this? You know, it's on Twitter, but I know there's no way you follow me on Twitter, and I know you don't follow Futuristic Hub on Twitter. And at that point, he actually asked to see the tweets again. So of course I brought my Twitter back up and I showed him all the threatening tweets at not only myself and everybody else, but at Parker and all the shit he was talking and all the things he was saying he was about to do. And then the guy looks at me and he goes, is this guy's real name Brian Martin? And I was like, whoa, this guy must be a fan. How cool is that this random old guy, security manager at a convention center, has actually heard of us and follows us and all this shit. And if you actually have heard the name Brian Martin, you're pretty deep into the community because this guy, Futuristic Hub, has gone to massive lengths to bury this old identity he has. But no, that that wasn't the case at all. Of course, this guy had never heard of us. We're fucking random gaming YouTubers. We're nowhere near like famous enough to reach this guy. Apparently, Brian Martin had called the convention center earlier that day and told them what a giant threat that I was, and that I was threatening to beat him up or was going to do all these violent things, that I was this crazy psychopath, that I should be banned from the event. There was no way you should let him in your convention center, that if he's there, he's going to do all this crazy shit, and I'm really scared for my life. He might try to hurt me while I'm there, all this stuff. And of course the guy's looking at me and he was like, "You're here, why?" And I'm like, "Well, I own a team here. They're competing in the competition." And he was like, "So why is this guy saying all this stuff?" I'm like, "Because he's fucking crazy. And he's like one of those secretly obsessed fans that wants to like come stalk my shit apparently." And then again, he looked at the tweets again and I'm like, "Yeah, that's him. That's Futuristic Hub. That's the guy." And I told him about the altercation the night before. I was like, "This is all the stuff he's saying to me. This is the guy who called you." And for more proof, I showed him the Wikipedia page, which has Brian Martin and Futuristic Hub and Life in a Tent all linked together. And that was it, really. They had heard enough. They were like, "All right, well, we'll keep this guy away from the event. You know, if we see him, we'll spot him. If we see him, we'll detain him or deny him entry and we'll do all this stuff." And I'm like, "Hey, no, you don't have to like ban him from the event. Like, honestly, he's just a crazy fan. Like, everything I'm telling you is just a guy on the internet typing shit out. Like, but not according to them, he had earned himself a ban. So he was not going to be allowed into the convention center. That if he had come to the convention center, they were going to go find him and detain him." Asked me if I wanted to press charges because, believe it or not, threatening someone over Twitter is still a threat. It's still a felony of communicating threats and is against the law. And I was like, hell no. Like, you know, you don't need to do any of that. Like, this has all been blown out of proportion. This is all kind of crazy. This is just nuts. And he never came to the event. He tweeted out that he was going to a mall so that if any of his fans wanted to come meet him, they could go see him at this mall. But nonetheless, he never came to the event, and that was kind of like the end of it. But after that event, me, Ham, and Lost had planned to go to Vegas. Now, I'd never been to Vegas before. I was extremely excited for this trip. We had booked a really nice suite. We were going to do the whole hangover thing, but, you know, obviously the nerd calm down version. Really, we just drank cheap, watered down drinks while we played freaking roulette and lost at blackjack the whole night. But that didn't stop Hub from tweeting all types of crazy shit that him and his brothers were headed to Vegas. And of course, we've been tweeting out what hotel we were staying at, so they knew where we were at and they were gonna come find us and do all this crazy shit. And at this point, I was just like, fuck, I'm just ignoring it. I'm like, this guy isn't gonna do a fucking thing he says, and just completely ignored him. But that didn't stop him from tweeting a whole bunch of pictures of muscly dudes at me. I've never understood the whole threatening someone with your friends thing. Sounds kind of like a bitch move to say, "Hey, my boys are gonna come get you." And really, that was the last time I heard of him. But more and more, as we kind of looked at the situation, it seems like he came to that event to see us and start shit with us. Like, his Twitter made it seem like he wasn't even that disappointed to not go watch the games, you know, the actual event, you know, all the Call of Duty competitive games that were going on. He seemed completely disinterested. Actually said, "Hey man, if you guys want to come see me, I'm going to be over here at this mall having a whole lot of fun. All the fans should come over there." Now, he owns a community channel, so I don't know what fans he was referring to, especially since it was a Call of Duty competitive event. But anyways, yep, now you guys know kind of like the history between me and Futuristic Hub. Now, I'm warning you guys are going to hear a lot of stories over the next probably week or two. A YouTuber losing a $20 million lawsuit is a big deal. Probably will be bouncing around the whole news and drama section of YouTube for quite a while. And not just because of the $20 million lawsuit. This group of people, being Futuristic Hub, Marco, and whoever else was involved in that lawsuit, I'll link the article below, by the way, so that you guys can go read it. That group of people have literally pissed off, fucked with, threatened, stalked, threatened, and then threatened like 17 more times every single YouTuber you've almost ever heard of if you're only into gaming. And I'm willing to bet even some pranking guys. I bet even they're aware of how crazy this fucking guy is. And it's been one of those sad situations where most YouTubers naturally want to work with the guy because he's got such a large community channel. And one by one, he's worked with almost all of them. And one by one, you had to sit there and just be like, "Hey man, be careful around that guy." And them say, "Oh no, he's a good guy. Don't worry. You know, he's been nice to me. All that stuff I'm hearing about him, it might not be true." And we're just all like nodding our heads like, "All right, you're going to find out." And sure enough, like 100% of the time, never has anything been so blanketly true. And eventually they all end up getting fucked over by him. And if not fucked over, just scared of him because the stuff he says is absolutely crazy. I even had a jersey company DM me and talk to me about how crazy this guy is. An esports jersey company. Let that sink in. How crazy do you have to be in a Call of Duty gaming community so that clothing brands start to realize how fucking nuts you are? And basically everybody's had the same experience as me, as this guy you end up butting heads with eventually threatens to take take away your channel, that if you talk about or release anything that he said to you, that he's gonna come after you and sue you and take away everything you own. And most of us have read that Wikipedia page and we just believe him. He's a pathological liar, but that one thing he says is fucking true. His threats, he means them. Now, he'll probably never show up in person and do them, but he'll definitely use his contacts at YouTube that he always says he has, and all these other things he can do to just totally fuck with you. So everyone just kind of just ignores him and moves away and doesn't talk shit about him. And the greatest piece of evidence is this is even Keemstar has only covered a portion of what this guy has done. Because Keemstar's got a business and a family too. There's just some people you don't fuck with. But I'm willing to bet a lot of these YouTubers are gonna start talking about their relationships with this guy and what happened to them, because already before I made this video, I saw like everybody from Quebblecop to just complete randoms talking about how this guy owes him money or has fucked him over and somehow, and how fucking crazy bipolar this dude is. So the drama community is probably gonna be pretty well entertained for the next few days. But it is nice to see that we're all kind of finally standing up and, you know, letting people know about this guy, and so that everyone realizes just how many of us have shared the same story. But to be honest, don't even take my word for it. There's gonna be plenty of other YouTubers for you guys to listen to, and it's just about everybody I follow on Twitter. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys tomorrow.